nobody telling him to be from the hood, but they see something in him, so they love him like they love their homies.
That's Kendrick?
That's Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? He grew up in West Side Power Rule Hood. That's the biggest Power Rule Hood we have out here. One of the
Right after Kendrick dropped Not Like Us, something major shifted behind the scenes. Wack 100 just came through and yanked the whole curtain down. According to him, Drake got hit with a serious warning from some Peru-connected folks in LA. And that's when the whole vibe switched up. No more subliminals, no more sneak disses. Drake hit the brakes real quick. But why did the so-called champagne poppy backpedal so fast? Turns out, Kendrick got solid backing from Pyrus, and Wack is spilling every last drop of tea. When that back and forth between Drake and Kendrick popped off, most people thought it was just regular rap drama. But nah, what Wack 100 revealed shows this thing went way beyond the mic. Wack said it straight up. Drake didn't just take an L on the lyrical front, he got checked by the streets. And this wasn't no random threat. Wack made it clear, Kendrick is off limits. Not because he's out here running gangs, but because the Peru community in Compton holds him close. Kendrick might not be active, but he's from their section, and that bloodline loyalty runs way deeper than industry beefs. Is Kendrick out here wildin'? Nope. But trust, they'll ride for him, no questions asked. In a Vlad TV interview, Wack broke it all down. Kendrick grew up in the Peru section of Compton, and his ties go way back. He got people on deck looking out for him 24/7. That's the kind of loyalty you can't buy. That's just how it works when the streets claim you as one of their own. This right here is where everything flipped upside down. Kendrick didn't have to make any calls or beg for backup. He didn't need a security detail walking him through the west side. The Piru sets and other crews out of Compton locked in on their own. This wasn't about rap battles or chart numbers. This was about straight-up respect. When you've grown up in those streets, stayed solid, and never switched up, people notice. They protect you even when you don't ask. Wack 100 laid it out. Kendrick might move like a regular dude, but he's got coverage like a boss. And the second those Peru names started getting linked to the situation, Drake's whole vibe flipped. Before that, Drake was doing the most, throwing slick bars, dropping sneak disses on Instagram, firing off petty captions left and right. But once Kendrick dropped that nuke of a track and the street talk got louder, Drake went silent. Fans clocked it right away. 1 minute he's trying to little bro Kendrick, the next he's yanking tracks while Kendrick's diss records break records. Drake, the same guy who turns every feud into marketing gold, fully backed down. So now everyone's asking, what exactly was said behind closed doors to make Drake fall back like that? What kind of warning did he get that made even his ego take a step back? And the biggest question of all, why are the streets going so hard for Kendrick, a guy who's never even claimed a gang in public? Something real got triggered here. This kind of protection Kendrick has, it ain't about being famous. It's a whole different level of power. The kind Drake wishes he had, but can't buy, can't fake, and definitely can't flex into existence. Wack said the gang members ride for Kendrick out of straight up respect. And that's the big difference between him and Drake. Kendrick was born and raised in Compton, deep in Westside Piru territory, right in the Tams neighborhood. He was surrounded by that gang culture his whole life. And even though he never got caught up in banging, he soaked in the mindset, the code, the energy, all of it. He's always been a good kid, but don't get it twisted, he ain't soft. Anybody who's really listened to Mad City or The Art of Peer Pressure knows exactly what kind of environment he came from. Kendrick wasn't just near the wolves, he moved through them and came out a lion. Now here's where it gets serious. In places like Compton, your rep ain't just about what you do, it's how you carry yourself. Kendrick never had to act tough or chase clout for respect. He stayed low-key, moved smart, and always showed love. That's why the OGs, the quiet ones who really run the show, got his back heavy. So when the smoke from that Drake versus Kendrick beef started floating through the air, the streets didn't even wait around. They jumped in instantly. "We got Kenny," they said without hesitation. "That ain't just loyalty, that's legacy. That's Compton standing strong like a tribe, unified and untouchable. And let's be real, Kendrick ain't out here moving solo. His circle? certified. TDE is no flashy label built on hype. It's a real-life brotherhood with roots planted deep in the streets. J-Rock, he's been locked in with the bounty hunter blood since day one. And Top Dog, that man didn't just come from the trenches. He built a whole empire from it. These aren't just music heads. They're respected far beyond the booth. That's why Kendrick's protection ain't some fake security setup. Nah, he's got real soldiers around him, ones who've earned their name without shouting it.
The easy part about it is Kendrick really grew up in a rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
Protective neighborhood, but a rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
So when Drake tried turning rap into war, Kendrick didn't even flinch. He stayed chill while the block answered for him. Not because he hired some bodyguards, not because he made a call, but because Compton's son never disrespected his roots. No fake gang talk, no dress-up tough guy moments, just real pain, real truth, and real love for the city that made him. So now you gotta ask, with Kendrick holding this kind of credibility and real-life protection, why would Drake ever poke the beast? Why go after a lion in his own jungle? Something about this whole move feels reckless, or just plain desperate, or maybe, just maybe, Drake didn't realize who he was stepping to. Let's break it down, starting with his so-called street credentials. Drake's always tried to walk that line between pop star and street boss, flashing OVO like it's a flag and keeping muscle around like he's got something to prove. He doesn't just drop hints either. He's out here rubbing shoulders with real hitters, like YG, who's got real pull in LA and serious ties to the Bloods. Or Jay Prince, the legendary Rap-A-Lot Don, who's feared across every major rap city in the game. With names like that in his circle, Drake moves like he doesn't need to throw hands. He got people to do that for him. At least, that's the image he's selling. Drake's been crafting that mob boss persona for years. You got dudes online calling him father, claiming goon status, even saying they fear him, not because he's tough, but because of the reach he's got behind the scenes. But here's where it all starts falling apart. Because for someone acting like a mob boss, Drake keeps getting caught in real goofy situations. Like that weird moment with Dram. Dram had a smooth little vibe with Cha-Cha, and out of nowhere, Drake drops Hotline Bling, originally titled Cha-Cha Remix. He jacked the whole wave, dropped the name, and tried to push it like it was his own invention. Then when DRAM called it out, Drake didn't step to him man to man. He let his crew handle it. That's not gangster. That's shaky. So now people are wondering, is Drake really built like that? Or is the whole tough guy act just a flashy costume for the cameras? Dram tried to keep it cool in public at first, but later admitted he felt played. And when he finally stepped to Drake at Coachella, thinking he could settle things face to face, Drake didn't say a word. His bodyguards handled it with fists, beat Dram down before he could even finish a sentence. Drake never lifted a finger, just stood back and watched it go down. That's his style. Let the muscle do the dirty work while he stays squeaky clean. Smart? Maybe, but gangster? Not even close. Dram's spoken on it himself. The whole thing was foul, and that's not even the only sketchy moment. Let's rewind the tape. Remember the rumor about one of T.I.'s guys allegedly peeing on Drake in a theater? Or when Diddy reportedly slapped him backstage, and Jay-Z had to step in to calm it down. If any other rapper got treated like that, the internet would have roasted them for life. But Drake? He somehow slid right past the backlash and kept it moving like nothing ever happened. But things get way weirder. Let's talk about his connection to Ian Connor, the stylist with serious fashion clout, but also a ton of disturbing accusations hanging over him. That relationship raised a lot of eyebrows. Ian's the one who helped bridge the gap between Drake and Playboi Carti, even lining them up on the track Pain. But with Ian's rep, that link looks real messy now. Back in 2023, Drake was still showing love to Ian Connor. Name-dropped him in a verse, even hit the strip club and tossed stacks with him. But out of nowhere, Ian posted that he blocked Drake. That's when it got messy. Chubbs, Drake's right-hand man and OVO's enforcer, slid into the comments and let it fly. He claimed Ian got checked by the OVO squad, called him a little boy and everything. Now don't forget, Ian was in the Rich Flex video with 21 Savage, so if there's smoke, it's fresh and public. And this right here adds another twist to Drake's street image. He rolls with people facing serious allegations, but the second things go sideways, he presses the muscle button like always. Same old playbook. Here's the real deal. Drake's whole street vibe. It's cosplay with a huge budget. He talks gang, posts up with real ones, and flexes behind security like he's untouchable. But when things get real, like Kendrick calling him out for faking it, or actual Peru politics getting involved, Drake falls way back. He don't stand in it. He disappears. And that's what Kendrick was really getting at in this battle. It wasn't just about bars. It was about truth. Kendrick was raised in those streets. He doesn't need to act tough. He's from the pain, from the pressure, and built different because of it. Meanwhile, Drake pulled up thinking this was just another rap sparring match. But Kendrick, he ripped the mask clean off and showed the world what happens when the fake street costume gets exposed. That's when Drake's whole energy changed, and everyone felt it. All of a sudden, the same Drake who used to bark about mob ties and brag about having shooters on call went quiet. No more slick bars, no more red flags, no more subliminals aimed at anybody. Just a whole lot of careful moves, PR cleanup, and strategic silence, like somebody told him, "Yo, chill out, now." Then the whispers started flying. Word around LA was that certain blocks weren't feeling Drake's energy, especially the ones tied to the Piru sets. And when those kinds of folks start watching you close, you don't double down. You hit the brakes, fast. That's exactly what Drake did. Reality smacked him hard. This wasn't just rap anymore. Kendrick ain't just a lyricist from Compton, he's protected. Deep-rooted ties, legacy-level respect, and real ones watching his back without being asked. Coming at Kendrick in that environment, that ain't just bold, that's borderline reckless. So now the big question is, why did Drake even think he could play that game? Was it just ego? Or did he get too comfortable winning battles where he controlled the rules? Maybe he forgot. This time he wasn't battling an artist. He was stepping into a whole city's soul. And they don't let outsiders walk away easy. Drake came out the gate loud, throwing shade, tweaking lyrics live on stage, turning Instagram into his own digital war zone. But the second Kendrick dropped Not Like Us, crushed the Super Bowl stage, and had the streets calling him the champ, Drake vanished. No clapback, no diss, nothing but radio silence. And when he finally popped up, it was on his album talking about Fox rap beef, I'm trying to get the party lit. That wasn't confidence, that was retreat.
Town on the kid. But his bodyguard is in, not his ass. He ain't touched me. He's a you know that.
Give me a hug? Man, that ain't no response. That's a white flag waving in HD. Drake's energy did a full 180. Suddenly, his socials went back to the usual luxury content. Island trips, flashy outfits, club scenes. Like that whole lyrical war never even happened. Not a single post, not a single bar about Kendrick or that public execution that had the whole rap game tuned in. But here's where it gets crazy. Drake let Not Like Us go nuclear and did nothing. No freestyle, no diss, no half-hearted bar on IG Live. Nothing. And this is the same Drake who went full savage on Meek Mill, clapped at Pusha T, and even sent shots at Joe Budden. A dude not even active in the game like that. Kendrick straight up performed that diss on the Super Bowl stage with 130 million people watching. And what did Drake do? Not a word, just sat back while Kendrick danced on his name in front of the whole world. So now, everybody's asking, what really went down behind the scenes? Did Drake realize he finally met someone he couldn't outmaneuver? Or did some real voices step in and remind him, LA has rules, and Compton ain't just a city, it's a code? Out there, legends come with history, street ties, and serious protection. And when the West Coast OGs, especially the Piru sets, showed public love to Kendrick, that wasn't just hype. That was a power move. When certain blocks throw their weight behind you, it ain't just rap beef anymore. It's real life. What looks like rap drama on the surface, that's just the cover. Behind it, street politics, city pride, and people who don't play about one of their own. It was more than just silence. It was a warning. Kendrick's protected, and the people who matter, they know it. Even the most seasoned OGs understand the moment certain lines get crossed. You don't keep poking, you fall back. This ain't new either. The West Coast, don't forget, that memory runs deep. Look back at the East Coast versus West Coast beef in the 90s. It started on wax but ended with coffins. Real lives lost, real legends gone. And even today, one slick diss, one shady move in a club, and it can all spiral fast. You can't play reckless out here. Not when real street politics are tied in. Wack 100's been screaming it. Even Jay Prince, the man who's seen every era of rap, knows to respect the unwritten rules when he's out west. These aren't just music codes. They're survival codes. You either move right or you don't move at all. Drake, he's been around the streets for years, no doubt. But there's a big difference between standing next to it and being in it. And once that Kendrick beef turned serious, you could almost see it hit Drake. This ain't Toronto. Out in Compton, one wrong bar, one wrong post, and it can get real ugly, real fast. The OGs out west, they've lived through the dark side of these rap wars. They've buried peers, seen microphones turn into headstones. That's why they don't step in to hype the drama. They step in to stop it before it can't be undone. Because once you cross certain lines, there's no walking it back, not even if you're Drake. He might have slammed the brakes and paused the war. But Kendrick, he's still out here, still got the streets behind him, and still flipping diss tracks into full-blown anthems. So if Drake really closed the chapter on this beef, what's Kendrick about to do next? Because let's be clear, Kendrick didn't just win this. He rewrote the whole playbook. While Drake was out here tossing subliminals and playing digital tag, Kendrick moved like a sniper. No loud threats, no trolling, no back and forth, just cold precision. Every bar hit like a bullet. Every move was silent, but deadly. And what makes it even crazier, Kendrick didn't even have to bring up the streets. He never had to say a word about who had his back. The streets did that for him. His hometown, the OGs, the West Coast legends, they all stepped out and made it crystal clear. Kendrick is certified, untouchable. Now stack that next to Drake. He leaned hard into that street image, talking mob ties, flexing power, moving like a boss behind the mic. But when the real one started speaking, that tough talk vanished overnight. No more diss tracks, no more IG shade. Suddenly it was all brand launches and beach views again. Drake didn't have to say he was done. His silence screamed it. That energy shift, it told the whole story without a single bar. And yo, if those whispers are even half true about a certain video showing Drake getting checked by Peru OGs, and if that footage ever sees the light of day, that could be the missing piece. That could explain why the king of sneak disses dropped everything and walked away without a sound. Maybe that's when it hit him. This wasn't a rap game anymore. Kendrick's crew ain't out here for clout. They don't tweet, they don't troll, they move off the radar. And that's the scariest kind of loyalty you can face. They don't play internet games, they handle real life. So did Drake finally learn his lesson? If we really break this saga down, it might have been the first time Drake got truly humbled in a rap beef. He's used to controlling the tempo, being slick with the clapbacks, dropping the catchy lines that trend in minutes, but this time, he ran into someone who's not only lyrical, but legit. Let's talk fallout. Drake's no rookie when it comes to rap beefs. He's sparred with the best. But this one, it hit different. This wasn't about streaming stats or topping playlists. The stakes were credibility. And when that pressure comes from a dude like Kendrick, someone with bars, respect, and the streets marching behind him, that's a whole different kind of smoke. Drake might have realized fast that going blow for blow with Kendrick wasn't just risky, it was dangerous. Especially when the West Coast OGs started stepping in and real politics got involved. That's not a chessboard you want to play on unless you really know the rules. Still, Drake's always been a master at flipping losses into evolution. So don't be shocked if he tries to rebrand off this, more mature, more reflective. Maybe he drops a project full of healing energy, talks about peace and growth, real high road vibes. That's his pivot. That's his safe zone. But even if he shifts into that next phase, let's keep it real. The culture ain't forgetting this one. This moment left a scar. And Kendrick, he ain't just walking away with a win. He's walking with the crown. Not just because he outbarred Drake, but because he touched something deeper: legacy, loyalty, and real respect that no amount of clout can fake. Kendrick reminded the whole world, real respect ain't something you post, it's something you live. He never had to pretend to be street. The streets claimed him, and that kind of respect, you can't buy it, fake it, or stream it. It's earned in silence, and it speaks louder than any viral diss. The shift is loud and clear now. Drake's still a heavyweight, no doubt. But Kendrick, he's the one they fear, the one they follow, the one who can drop a bar and shake the entire room without ever raising his voice. Drake didn't get canceled, but he definitely got checked. And now, the culture sees the difference between an industry tough guy and a certified legend. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share if you felt that heat, and we'll catch you on the next one.